Yeah. No, I'm not sharing anything. Yeah. So, chapter 9, most confidential knowledge about the relationship between Krishna and Jivas and how to perform bhakti. And then chapter 10. Chapter 10, opulences of the absolute, Vibhuti Yoga. So Vibhuti means opulence. So Krishna talks about his greatness. In this chapter, Krishna talks about his greatness, how how great he is. So he talks about few segments in the material world, and he takes the best thing in that segment and he tells that is him. For example, of all the immovable things, I am Himalayas. Okay, Krishna talks about his vibhuti, the greatness. And in the end, he tells that with my single fraction of my opulence, I can pervade and maintain this entire universe. With my single fraction of my opulence, I can maintain and I can pervade and maintain this entire universe. So after hearing that, Arjuna wanted to see how Krishna can pervade and maintain this entire universe with his single fraction of opulence. So Arjuna requests Krishna to show that in some kind of form. Then Krishna shows universal form, Vishwarupa. That is chapter 11. Chapter 11 is Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, the universal form. Krishna shows all the universes, the 3 planetary systems and all the universes in one place. So Arjuna was able to see right from higher planetary systems to down to lower planetary systems, including Krishna and Arjuna standing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was able to see everything in one place. And then after showing the universal form, the gigantic universal form, having many hands, many legs, and many heads, then Krishna shows fearful Kala Rupa form. Krishna shows fearful Kala Rupa form. And in that, Krishna shows how all the Kauravas entering into his mouth and getting killed. Just like how fireflies, when they enter the fire and they get killed instantly. So Arjuna could see all the Kauravas entering the mouth of Krishna and getting killed. So looking at that form of Krishna, Arjuna was afraid and he asked Krishna, who are you? Then Krishna says, time I am, kalosmi. I in the form of time devour everything. So I in the form of time devour everything. I kill everybody in the form of time. So nobody can escape from time. We can get back anything that you lost in this world. You can get back the money that you have lost. You can get back the relations that you have lost. You can get back anything that you have lost in this material world except time. You cannot get back the time that has been lost. So the time is a forcing factor upon us. Time is a forcing factor upon us to dwindle and to go through the dwindling and death. When a person takes, okay, 1 second, there is a glare, right?
You get everything, but not time. That's what it said, relatives and all.
Yeah.
You get relatives also, you can get it.
Not the relatives who have died, okay. But let's say you're having a good relation with with your brother or sister, and let's say something happened. So due to some misunderstanding, that relationship has been broken. You can revive that relationship. You can revive that relationship. You can get back that relationship. No. In this life only, you can repair that relationship. Relationship that is broken, it is possible to repair it. It is possible to repair and revive it and get back the relationship. You can get back anything and everything except time. You can get back money. Let's say you lost $1 million. You can get it back. A relationship that has been lost, you can get it back. You lost some assets, you can get back. But except time, you can get everything back. So Krishna, after showing the Kala Rupa form, Arjuna inquires, who are you? And then Krishna says, I'm the forceful time factor. And then the reason why Krishna shows all the Kauravas entering his mouth and Arjuna was able to see the Kauravas getting killed is, the reason is Krishna wanted to encourage Arjuna to fight. Arjuna's situation is he decided not to fight, but Krishna wanted to encourage him to fight. So after showing the Kala Rupa form and showing that the Kauravas are getting killed, Krishna tells that Arjuna, even if you don't fight and kill these Kauravas, I'm going to kill them anyway. They have already been killed by my plan. See, I'm showing you, all the Kauravas are getting killed. They are entering my mouth just like fireflies entering fire and getting killed. You can see all the Kauravas getting killed. They are entering my mouth. So you get up and fight. Krishna tells in chapter 11, there is a nice, beautiful shloka. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrum bhungshva rajam samruddham mayaiva te nihata purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavyasachi. Nimitta matram bhavasavyasachi means nimitta matram means you become an instrument. Bhavasavyasachi. Savyasachi is referring to Arjuna, because Arjuna was able to fight with 2 hands. Okay, so he is Savyasachi. So, oh Arjuna, you become an instrument and fight and get the credit. Tasmat tvam uttishta. Uttishta means get up. In Suprabhatam, it starts, right? Kausalya suprajarama purva sandhya pravartate uttishta narashardura. Oh Lord, please get up. Please wake up. It has become morning. Please wake up. So, Tishta means get up. Oh Arjuna, get up. Tasmat tvamuttishta. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva. You get up and fight and gain victory. Yasho labhasva. Yasho means, yashaha means victory or fame. Labhasva means gain. Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun. You conquer your enemies. Jitva shatrun. Conquer your enemies. Jitva shatrun bhungshva rajam samruddham. And enjoy this flourishing kingdom. Rajam samruddham. Rajam means kingdom. Samruddham means in full or the flourishing kingdom. Enjoy the kingdom in full, flourishing. Jitva shatrun bhungsham rajam samruddham. Mayaiva te nihata purvameva. That means, with my previous arrangement, all these Kauravas have been killed already. Nihata means they have already been killed. With my previous arrangement, they have already been killed. The Kauravas have already been killed. You are thinking that you are going to be the cause of the death of these Kauravas. That's why you are not willing to fight. But see, with my previous arrangement, I have already killed these Kauravas. Nimitta matram, you just become nimitta matram bhava, means you become an instrument. You get up and fight, become an instrument and take all the credit. So Krishna is telling, he has done everything. Krishna has done everything, but he's telling Arjuna to take the credit. Just like how parents encourage children to do things, and then when children are struggling to do things, they help the children and ask the children to take the credit. Okay, let's say there is a homework of drawing some biology, diagram. I remember in my childhood days, I was first in class, but I was very poor at drawings. So I used to take help from other friends in the class. So they used to help draw the biology diagrams, And then I used to write my name.
Take credit.
So just like that, parents encourage kids, with everything, right? If they're not able to do something, they do everything, and then they ask the child to write their name. And that's what Krishna exactly did here. He showed Arjuna that, okay, I'm killing everything. I have already killed these Kauravas. Now there should not be any excuse for you not to fight. So tasmat uttishta, you get up and fight and become my instrument. So I'll be pleased, and you can take the credit that you have done this. So it's a very, very beautiful shloka in that chapter 11. And then chapter 12. Before chapter 12. So after showing that fearful Kalarupa form, then when Arjuna gets afraid, then Arjuna requests Krishna to withdraw that fearful Kalarupa form and show his original form. Then Krishna shows his Chaturbhuja form, the four-handed Chaturbhuja form, and then the two-handed Shamasundara form. Because Krishna's original form is two-handed form, just like us. Two-handed, just like us means two-handed form, but Shamasundar, not like us. So, can you turn off the light in the back?
The temple light?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a glare here. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Okay. So when Arjuna requests Krishna to withdraw that fearful Kalarupa form, Krishna shows Chaturbhuja form and then two-handed Shamasundara form. And then Krishna tells who is qualified to see his two-handed beautiful Shamasundara form. Not everybody can see it. Krishna tells only his bhaktas can see his two-handed Shamasundara form. The universal form on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. Whereas, and even prior to that, even prior to the Kurukshetra war, Krishna showed his Vishwarupa to Duryodhana, and
All the Kuru were there in the court.
in the court. But the Shamasundara, the two-handed Shamasundara form is a very rare thing for anyone to see. And in the end, towards the end of chapter 11, Krishna tells who is qualified to see the two-handed Shamasundara form. First of all, who is qualified to understand Krishna, and who is qualified to see Krishna's two-handed Shamasundara form. Only bhaktas, only devotees who have surrendered to Krishna can see. Not even Narada, not even Brahma, not even Lord Shiva, not even any of the demigods can see Krishna's two-handed Shamasundara form. It is only devotees.
Like Krishna, the whole Mahabharata, everywhere, like he in the Dwarka, everywhere he was in two-handed form, right?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
So, see, Duryodhana saw Krishna's two-handed form, right?
Yeah.
But was he acknowledging that it is Krishna?
No.
No. He was seeing him, but he was not acknowledging that he was Krishna. He was not acknowledging that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what Krishna meant to say. When
even Dwarka, Mathura, wherever he was born and raised, everywhere, like he was in two-handed form. Like everyone had seen already, right? Like, why do you say that?
But how many of them recognized that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
But he already saw it, right?
They saw him. They saw him and they considered him like an ordinary person. Like, for example,
Another human being.
Yeah, another human being, supernatural, person. Even if Krishna comes in front of us today, how many of us can recognize that he's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We might think that, okay, some drama artist has come.
Exactly. So, I don't know if it is a appropriate fit, but just like when we are watching a movie and we are looking at a character that the actor is playing, so we are recognizing that person as that character, not as that individual.
Not as the original person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though we are watching him, so let's say you are watching Bahubali, so you're watching Bahubali, you're not watching Prabhas.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Radha Raman Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was wanted to clarify, Prabhu. So Sham Sundara form is the same form that Krishna had when he was a child with Yashoda Maya, when he was in doing Leela with gopis and sakas,
Yeah.
and then he gets to Mathura, and then he gets to Dwaraka. So
Mhm.
Sham Sundara form is the same form. That's the form you're mentioning.
Yeah.
I see. But what you're saying is the distinction is between the devotees looking at Krishna in that, in the same Shyamsundara form
Yeah.
versus Duryodhan or any of the, Kuru dynasty who did not believe in Krishna as the God. So
Yeah.
you're saying they also looked at Shyamsundara form, but they did not know that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But
Yeah.
whereas Kunti Devi or, Bhishma or Vidur, they already knew that, Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when they saw the Shyam Sundar form, they got, lack of better word, liberated. Correct? Is that thinking correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And no, even all the Kauravas also, they were liberated because they were killed by Krishna, right? So they were
Yeah.
also liberated. But what is the destination and what kind of liberation they got? That is different. So before
I see.
going there, so since you mentioned, right, the gopis, Yashoda Mai,
Yeah.
everyone saw Krishna's Shyamsundara form. So, so when Krishna was performing his leelas, in Dwapara Yuga, uh, so everyone saw Krishna, right? There are two kind of people: devotees who recognize that it is the Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the non-devotees who does not consider him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the people who did not consider Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is straightforward. Okay, they did not consider him as God. But the fact is that even the devotees who were able to see Krishna, they also uh, did not consider him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why?
Because they, because
So
he did not give that for example, Yashoda wanted to he wanted to enjoy as a child.
Yeah.
So he did not want to give that knowledge to Yashoda, so he
Yeah.
removed that memory from
I
Yes.
think we discussed this like Maya, because of that Maya.
Oh, you discussed in the last class?
So,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu was saying in the last class.
Okay. Yeah. So there are two things: Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. So Yoga Maya covers the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, Yoga Maya is a potency. It is Krishna's potency. It is Krishna's internal energy, which helps a devotee cover his knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that the devotee can relish certain rasa with Krishna. Devotee can serve Krishna in a particular rasa and relish that experience.
And again, Prabhuji, like when he was playing with all other gopis and everybody, like
Yeah.
many situations where Krishna showed his actual power, being a little child also, like he was showing some extra power in front of every gopis and gopika.
Yeah.
So, but still, like they considered him as a friend only. Like they didn't think like they know like he's much better than what they do, but still they didn't consider him as a god.
Yeah.
Right. So that also it's considered like they saw his Shamarup,
Shyam Sundara form.
Shamasundara form, or it's like just like they didn't see that.
No, say that again. I got deviated. Somebody raised hand. Yeah.
My question was like, did Gopi and Gopikas in all situations they are seeing Krishna as Shamasundara form?
Yes.
Or no?
No, they were seeing Krishna Shyam Sundara form,
Okay.
but Yoga Maya covered them, and it made them ignore the fact that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay.
Because if they remember the fact that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot play with him just like a friend, and they cannot ridicule with him. They cannot they cannot treat Krishna like a son. So when you know that a person is God, then you start worshipping them with awe and reverence, thinking that, oh, he's a great person and I cannot go near him. I can only stand far and pay obeisances. So your mood will be awe and reverence, but it will not be an intimate relationship with God. So in order to have that intimate relationship, so Krishna's Yogamaya potency covers the devotees to have that intimate relationship.
Though they see him like doing all these miracles, like carrying the mother and all different things, still the gopis and gopikas, they never thought like him to be a supreme lord.
Yeah. See, Govardhan Leela, right? So it is Krishna who lifted Govardhan hill. But what did the Gopa boys say? Let me help you. Let me help you. Oh, Krishna, you are struggling. Let us all come and help you. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like another pastime I was reading where like when Brahma takes all these things and then he comes back after 1 year, right? So it seems like all the kids, they come back and they go to their mothers and say, oh, the food that you gave this morning was not good or something. Like it was, they narrate it as though it happened like few minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the mothers are confused. Why I gave 1 year back? Why are you telling this now? But still they don't realize that what has happened. Like that whole, it was very interesting.
I think during that time Krishna was there with
Yeah, but suddenly one day, he was there, and then the real kids, like they come and they go to their mothers and narrate, oh, you gave me this food this morning, something, they just discuss as though it happened just now. Mothers are confused. Why are you saying this? I did this 1 year back.
Yeah.
But still they don't like suspect or like think something has happened, some Lord has
Yeah. So it happened as if like nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to the Gopa boys, nothing happened to the mothers. So nobody knew what exactly happened. Yeah. Okay, Kalpana garu, మీరు ఏదో చెప్పాలనుకున్నారా?
Yeah,
Another Sandhya.
Yogamaya is Krishna's internal energy, right, Prabhuji? But somewhere I heard like Radharani is Krishna's internal energy.
Yeah. So Krishna has many energies.
Then
Krishna's
Radharani
can
is
manifest in
Yogamaya.
many different ways.
Then Radharani is Yogamaya.
No. Krishna's internal energy can manifest in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So Krishna's internal energy can manifest in different ways. And Radharani is Krishna's internal potency.
Okay.
Yeah. Like spirit soul. Spirit soul, we are also Krishna's internal energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably it's just coming to my head. So like Yogamaya. So Yogamaya, the personification of Yogamaya. So she will be Shakti Tattva, right?
Yeah.
So if she's Shakti Tattva, we can also say in a way that she's the expansion of Srimati Radharani. Because anything that's Krishna's Tattva would be Vishnu Tattva.
Yeah.
So anything that's Shakti Tattva would be actual expansion of Srimati Radharani.
It is more apt to say that it is Krishna's energy, not Radharani's energy, because the Yogamaya, it can it can cover Radharani also, right? It covers Radharani also, because Radharani is also devotee of Krishna.
It also covers Krishna.
It covers Krishna also. It covers Krishna also, but it is coming from Krishna only.
Yeah. Yogamaya covers Krishna?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he
Then
don't want to know like he's supreme when in front of his mom, that means he's covering himself, right? Like he's not knowing like he's a supreme God. And he want to enjoy that childhood with them.
Yeah.
So
But
in a
he
way
was
he's
able to
covering
lift
himself.
But he was able to lift everything, right? Like
When he want, it will be eliminated again. Like whenever he wants to be in that Maya, he will be in that Maya.
Yeah.
Again, when the situation comes when he need to react in a normal way, then the Maya will go away. That's what Prabhuji, like
Yeah,
last
last
week we
week.
were discussing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is from the class only. I don't have any other
Based on
knowledge.
command, you go, and then I'll come back.
So it's on demand. On demand.
That's what I said, like,
Also
I can go.
Parvati.
Yeah.
In other sense, she's the Parvati or like a wife of Shiva, right?
That's Mahamaya.
Mahamaya.
Durga is Mahamaya.
And Durga is also expansion of Parvati.
Yeah.
So that's Mahamaya.
Yeah. So those details I'm not very sure. If is Durga expansion of Parvati or not, but I don't know.
Because Sati and all that, like all those babies. they're
Yeah.
From Parvati.
They are all Shakti Tattva.
Shaktis, yeah.
Mm.
Actually, like because they also worship that way. Gauri Puja or Sati Puja or Durga, even the Navadurga or all these
Yeah,
devis.
Yeah.
they worship that way. So I think it's coming from Parvati, and that's the expansion of Mahamaya is expansion of Parvati.
Mm.
So I was reading that the Durga, the word Durga means fort.
Yeah.
So when Mahamaya was born, she in a way, because she was born before Krishna, she's like an elder sister who came to protect Krishna. That's why she's called Durga. Durga means like fort or
Fort.
protection. Durga, that's how that name also came.
Yeah.
So that's why they're like brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So Mahamaya basically makes one forget about Krishna. Like the people who did not recognize Krishna, that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, like Duryodhana and all, or even the gopis' husbands. Gopis' husbands, the Brahmanas, they were Brahmins, but still they did not recognize Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead. So it is Mahamaya that is covering them. Mahamaya giving them ignorance of Krishna. Mahamaya is making them forget Krishna. Yeah, Radharaman Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhu, a little, I know this is little, I know we're taking technical, I'm sorry. So in Vraj, in Vrindavan, you have Krishna playing with Sakas, having pastimes with Krishna, gopis having pastime with Krishna. They're considered to be very fortunate. Like even, demigods themselves cannot really enjoy that rasa or involve in pastimes. So it seems like constitutionally, they're at a higher position than some of the demigods that we know. So the question is, you have some demigods who are, so austere. I'll give you one example. Again, forgive my ignorance here. Lord Shiva, for example, very austere. Mahadev, as they refer, right? But he could not get part in the Rasa Leela. But then you have gopis who are, who are, I'm not saying they're Krishna or whatever, but not as same as Lord Shiva, but they are able to enjoy that Rasa Leela. So the question is how the distinction was made. Did the gopis and the sakas in Vrindavan have some kind of past life sukruti to be able to take part in the pastimes of Vrindavan? Is that how to understand the pastimes in Vrindavan?
Yeah. So all the people who participated in Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan, they're all his eternal associates in the spiritual world. All the gopis, gopa boys, they're all Krishna's eternal associates in the spiritual world. Just like, whenever a president wants to visit another country, right?
Yeah.
First, the president sends his battalion, all the security people and, administrative people, everybody, so that they make arrangements for president to go and make sure that everything is safe. Similarly, when Krishna wants to descend into this material world, first he sends his associates, whether it was in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna or in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first he sends his associates and then Krishna comes later.
So the gopas and the sakas in Vrindavan are actually associates of the Lord in Golok Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. So we were discussing chapter 11, right? Yeah. And then chapter 12. So anything else was discussed in chapter 11, Prabhu?
The form, like 400 form.
Yeah. Okay. And chapter 12. So what is the name of chapter 12? Let's see. Chapter 12.
Bhakti Yoga? I don't know.
Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. Yeah. So these middle 6 chapters collectively known as Bhakti Yoga, and this chapter title itself is Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 12 itself is known as Bhakti Yoga. Krishna presents so Krishna presents the ascending ladder of, or the descending ladder of Bhakti Yoga. Okay. First, he talks about the topmost rung in the Bhakti Yoga ladder. And then he talks about 4 other rungs in the Bhakti Yoga ladder that are lower. First, he says, fix your mind upon me, always think of me. And if one is able to do that, he is very dear to me. Okay. But how many of us can think of Krishna all the time and fix our mind upon Krishna all the time? Very rare, right? So then Krishna tells, if you are not able to do that, then
Work for me.
Work for me. Okay, work for me. If you are not able to work for me, then third thing is offer the results of your work to me. Offer the results of your work to me. Now, what is the difference between you work for me and then offer the results of your work to me?
Offering the results of the work could be offering the monetary benefits we get towards Krishna, and for related activities, for devotional activities related to Krishna. Whereas working for Krishna maybe is example, you could become a brahmachari and really involve yourself in distributing books and doing Harinam Sankirtan in the streets. I don't know, maybe that's an example, Prabhu.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, like, not necessarily offering monetary benefits, but anything like what you're doing with the dedication, and the result is like, you don't like aspire to get the certain results. Like, that is like, dedicating your work to the Lord. Third one, which is
Yeah.
Second one is like, I think I agree with what other people is saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that?
Do karma yoga and don't think about the result.
Yeah, kind of Nishkama Karma Yoga, right? Yeah. Okay. So work for me, the second stage, that means like what Radharaman Prabhu said, right? Like somebody taking this process of Bhakti Yoga as full-time, as a full-time job. And then the third one is that person has not taken Bhakti Yoga as full-time job, but he has a material occupation. But whatever work he is doing, Krishna is saying, offer the results of your work to me. Offer the results of your work to me. Somebody can be a software engineer, teacher, mother, or anything, right? So offer the results of your work to me. It can be monetary benefits, or it can be some service. For example, in Ananda Mela, right? Ananda Mela, a lot of people do a lot of service. So they're actually working for, they're offering the results of their work to Krishna. They may or may not know, but they are offering the results of their work to Krishna.
I just thought, like, when like what you're saying, I agree, and but then I also had this feeling that offer your result to me also meant that be detached from what you're doing. So be detached from the results of what you're doing, because when we are talking about devotional service, the second stage,
Yeah.
it's very direct service to the Lord.
Yeah.
So you're doing services for the Lord. Work for me meant that do the direct services for the Lord.
Yeah.
And the third one that said that offer the results to me, it means that whatever that you are doing, be detached from the results of those.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. For example, a volunteer working at Ananda Mela, right?
Yes.
So they're not expecting anything.
Yes.
They're simply volunteering and helping the entire project. So they are working, the 2 days of their work. They're not expecting anything for themselves. It's not for their enjoyment or benefit. They're not expecting any money or any pleasure for themselves.
Even let's say, for example, there, a person who's working in Anand Mila or any other such activities,
Yeah.
or even non-such activities, not even Anand Mila, any activity at all.
Yeah.
So Anand Mila itself becomes like, an activity which has been performed, which has been organized for the, for the elevation of the souls that, you get engaged in some activities. And
Yeah. Even if you take material occupational duty, right?
Still you are detached from those results.
Yeah.
Basically, you are offering all those results to the Lord.
Yeah.
It's like giving your 100% in whatever you're doing, but not like,
Okay,
like for example, I'm working on a project that has a deadline on this day.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'll meet the deadline or not, but I'm giving my 100% today. So that,
Be
2
there.
months from now, it might happen, may not happen. It is like up to God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he is very near to God, right? The
Very dear to God.
yeah,
Dear
not
to
the
God.
other persons, right? Like,
Uh,
I work for full time for God.
Yeah.
He's not very dear to God.
No. Krishna says, first he talks about the topmost stage. Fix your mind upon me, always think about me.
Yeah.
If you are able to do that, you are very dear to me.
Mhm.
And then Krishna gives some concession, because not everybody can do that, right?
Mhm.
Then he says, okay, beta, if you are not able to do this, at least do this. If you are able to do that, you are dear to me.
Okay. What-
Like, for example, Sachi, if Sachi is not eating, like four items in the plate, then what will her mother do?
This you too.
Sachi, these are vegetables, fruits, and some protein and some carbs. If you eat everything, then I'll be very happy. Then she says, no, I cannot eat all four. Then she says, okay, eat at least the protein and the fruits, then I'll be happy. Then she says, no, I cannot eat protein and fruits. Then she says, okay, at least eat fruits. Very simple, easy to eat, just banana. You don't have to wash anything, you just peel and you just eat. I'll be very happy. So like that, you give concessions. But if you are doing that, even the second stage, third stage,
Very good.
still you are dear to Krishna. Yeah. So it is dear, dearer, and dearest.
Mhm.
And these
That's the
processes,
difference.
I think it's ever uplifting. So wherever you are, whatever that you're following,
Yeah.
you'll still be uplifted.
Yeah.
from whatever state you are in.
Yeah. Yeah. That is third stage. And fourth stage, do some charity. Yeah. So do some charity, because everybody is inclined to do some charity, right? For their own happiness. Some people, they're inclined to do charity for their own happiness. If not for helping others, but just to feel good about it, they're inclined to do some charity.
And that will help people detach, slowly, gradually detach. From
It will
the
purify them,
and you
and
can offer your results. You go to the next stage, and once you start doing that.
yeah. So instead of doing charity for different causes, Krishna is saying, do charity for my for activities related to me. Like do some charity to propagate Krishna consciousness. Do some charity to build temples. Do charity give charity to the Brahmanas, and so on. And the fifth stage,
So you're saying
cultivate
like,
knowledge.
Let's say somebody is like doing charity to, giving some money to orphanage or something. So you're saying giving money to temple is better than giving to orphanage. Is that?
Yeah, we discussed, right? Madhava Seva is Manava Seva. If you satisfy Krishna, then entire mankind is satisfied. Yeah. But until
cook prasadam and take to orphanage and feed them.
yeah,
There's like a branch of trees, something.
Yeah, watering.
yeah. So in that case, you are serving both Madhava and Manava. Both. And then fifth stage is cultivate knowledge. So if you're not able to do all the previous four things, at least cultivate knowledge. Okay, at least cultivate knowledge about who God is, and what is soul, what is super soul. At least some, cultivate knowledge. Jnana yoga. Okay.
Knowledge for self or knowledge for others also, like we learn and we teach, propagate. Is that
No.
only for self?
Acquiring knowledge for oneself. Yeah.
In this chapter, they said like impersonal and personal. Most of the yogis only do impersonal.
Not in this chapter.
Huh?
First,
I think chapter 2, right? Like,
first shloka, Arjuna asked which is better, and then second shloka, Krishna answers, that personal worship, like worshipping the personal form is better. Right?
Yeah.
The second shloka.
yeah, yogis only do impersonal. I think only understand. They meditate it. If they are bad, I'm like, what is that?
But that is 17th chapter, right?
No, in this second shloka, I think we can refer.
12th chapter, second shloka also. Okay.
No, they're not bad. They're not dear. They're not dear.
They're not dear.
That's what we discussed last time, right? That's what we discussed last time.
Last time, yeah. So basically, the in-person form is very good, always a dearer.
I think third sloka. Second,
Second, I think. First is Krishna, Arjuna
I
asking.
read also that one.
To be most perfect. What is perfect?
You're saying third shloka?
Second is saying that if they do that, they are the most perfect.
Yeah, this is the first stage of the topmost stage of
Oh, you got that.
the ladder.
The summary, right? Not like this.
12.2.
Impersonal conception. I think better one.
No, the first one talks about the personal.
So this one you are saying?
No, second.
Second shloka.
12.2.
Mayavesh mano emam nitya yukta upasate shraddaya paryapate sa teme yukta tamomata.
On my
Their
personal
minds on
form.
my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me. Great transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
Because in the question before this, like the first shloka, Arjuna asks people which worshipping which form is better.
Those who worship impersonal Brahman. Yeah,
He
yeah,
answers
yeah,
like
yeah.
worshipping me.
yeah. The same question Arjuna repeats in 17th chapter. Yeah. Okay. So after giving the 5 different rungs of the devotional service in a descending order, then chapter 13. So technically by chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga ends. And if Bhakti Yoga is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, so that means Bhagavad Gita must have ended by chapter 12. But then Krishna continues and continues speaking Bhagavad Gita for 6 more chapters, chapter 13 to 18, called Jnana Yoga. Okay, so this you did not cover, right?
Yeah.
Chapter 13.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so chapter 13, nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. So Krishna, this is the chapter where Krishna talks about super soul. For the first time, Krishna talks about super soul. In chapter 2, Krishna talked about soul, and chapter 13, Krishna talks about super soul. So this body is considered as Kshetra. Kshetra is the field of activity. Kshetra is the field of activity for the soul. Just like, backyard. The backyard is a field of activity for Sachi. Similarly, this body is the Kshetra for the soul. Anything that the soul can do is limited to this body. And the soul has knowledge about this particular body only. Whereas the super soul has the knowledge about this body, your body, and everyone's body. So like that, Krishna compares between soul and super soul. And then
But it's the same energy, right? The soul and super soul. It's not a different thing. Same energy.
it is the same energy, but
Not higher or lower or something.
the quality is same, but the quantity is different. Soul is minute and super soul is infinite. Just like the soul can only know about what's happening in this body. It's minute, limited. Knowledge of the soul is limited to this body, this kshetra. Whereas knowledge of the super soul is unlimited. Super soul can know about what's happening in everyone's body. Yeah. So yes, qualitatively both are same, but quantitatively they are different. One is minute, the other one is infinite. And then after telling about
The super soul also exists within our body, they say, right? Like that Angushta mark, something like a very small, minute Akasha is there. So what is that? Is also super soul.
super soul is even more subtle than soul. Soul itself, the size of the soul is 1/10,000th of a tip of the hair. That's the size of the soul. So you take the tip of the hair, you chop it into 100 pieces, and then you take each and every piece and then cut into another 100 pieces. So that is the size of the soul. Very, very minute, right? So even the microscope cannot see it. And the super soul even more subtler than that.
But that also lives in the body. Like
Yeah.
we have in the body.
Yes. Yeah. In the heart region, both soul and super soul, they reside in the heart region. Yeah. So in chapter 13,
if we have super soul and soul in the body, so why we only talk about soul? Why we don't talk about super soul to begin with? So why we only concentrate on soul from our birth, right? So
Yeah.
nobody talks about super soul.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Focus on the root, not on the right?
Yeah.
Focus on the big thing, right?
So
one
it is like if you want to understand the ocean is unlimited, right? So it is impossible to understand the ocean as a single entity. But if you take one drop of the ocean and then analyze it, then you can taste it. You can take one few drops of the ocean and taste and figure out that it is salty. But you cannot gulp the entire ocean in your mouth. Just like who did that? Somebody gulped the entire ocean, right? Was it Durvasa Muni or
Agastya Muni?
Agastya Muni? Yes. Yeah. So he gulped the entire ocean in his mouth. So we cannot do that. So since we cannot, we don't have the capacity to understand the ocean as a single entity, we take a sample of the ocean and understand. So since soul is a qualitatively a sample of the super soul. So if you understand soul, you can understand super soul and you can understand about God also. Yeah, the Bhagavan. You can understand about Paramatma and Bhagavan. Yeah. So if you understand Jivatma, you can understand about Paramatma and Bhagavan. Yeah. So in this chapter 13, Krishna talks about the nature. Okay, nature, the three modes of material nature, and then enjoyer. So who is the real enjoyer? So who is the real enjoyer? Or who is the enjoyer? Whenever we do any activity, what do we think? We are the enjoyer. We think we are the enjoyer. But in this chapter, Krishna clarifies that, saying that he is the actual enjoyer. He is the Purusha. He is the Purusha, and we are all
medium
nature. We are all Prakriti. Krishna is Purusha, and we are Prakriti. He is the enjoyer, and we are enjoyed. Enjoyer and enjoyed. So he is Purusha. He is the only one in the entire creation. He is only Purusha, and we are all Prakriti. That means we are all female. Even the male are also female. Krishna is only male. He is only Purusha. We are all female. Nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. So Krishna tells how to start knowing about the super soul. Krishna calls the process of knowledge. Okay, in chapter 13, shlokas 8 to 12, Krishna calls them as the process of knowledge, process of acquiring knowledge. Krishna gives a list of 26 qualities amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shantirarjavam, acharyo pashanam, shaucham. Like that, there are 26 qualities Krishna mentions in those shlokas, 8 to 12. Chapter 13, 8 to 12. Krishna gives list of 26 qualities. And Krishna calls the collection of these or the cultivation of these 26 qualities is the process of knowledge. And anything beyond.
This is quality human being can have in this material world, or
Yeah, even this material world. Yeah.
What are these 26 qualities? I mean, at a high level, is it like Panchendriya, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya?
No, those are different. So these are the qualities. Amanitvam, humility. Adambitvam, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, non-violence. Shantir, arjavam, shanti, peace. Arjavam, arjavam is austerity. So let me show the shloka quickly.
The 8 hyphen 12. Okay.
Yeah. So let me share the screen here. So Kirti, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm hearing. I'm listening.
Okay. Jeet, what about you?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So chapter 13, shloka 8 to 12. Okay. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atma, vinigraha, indriyarteshu, vairagyam, anahankara evacha, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha, doshanu, darshanam, asaktir, anabhishvangaha, putradhara, grihadishu, nityam cha samachittatvam, ishtani, ishtopapattishu, Maichananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana samsadhi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etat jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yado yad ajnanam yad atonyadha. Krishna says etat jnanam iti proktam. Etat jnanam means I call these 26 qualities as knowledge. Etat jnanam. Etat jnanam iti. I call these 26 qualities as knowledge. And ajnanam yat atonyada. Everything else is ignorance. Everything else besides these 26 qualities, everything else is ignorance. Okay. Now let's see what are these qualities. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth and death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth.
What does it mean, like old age and disease as one of the qualities? Like, I understand as
No.
acknowledging that these are the problems.
Yeah.
Perception of evil of
Perception of the evil of birth and death, birth, death, old age, and disease.
one can see that these are evil will tend to be knowledge.
Yeah.
But mass of people, detachment from generally we go temple, lot of people in India.
Yeah.
Why we need to detach?
Detachment from the general mass of people. General mass of people, not devotees. Huh?
Those who come to that temple are not general people.
Yeah.
Basically understanding that Jivanam, Maranam, Vyadhi, Vruddhapyam, Vandi Kuda, basically those things are all part of life. You should not be attached or detached somebody, something like that is what is the quality here.
No, tolerance, those are different, right?
No, I mean, obviously you cannot attach. You cannot attach to disease. You cannot attach to death. So what Krishna is saying is having an understanding of these four things, having an understanding of these four problems. Nobody can escape from these four problems. Yeah. Yeah. Because there are some people who think that they can escape death. Larry Ellison of Oracle, Walt Disney, they think death is optional. That's why they
people who think like that, but many people think that we can avoid disease directly.
Yes.
Yeah. So the people, like Larry Ellison, all these big billionaires who have achieved great name and fame in the society, and who have great amount of wealth, in their pockets, they don't want to die because they want to enjoy their kingdom infinitely. They don't want to die. They want to enjoy unlimited happiness and for infinity of time. That's why Walt Disney, what he did was, he was the first person who did this, and then other billionaires followed him. So they created a project called, I think it's called cryogenics or cryonics, something, okay? Wherein the people like Walt Disney, they believe that one fine day in future, science can find solution to death, and then they can bring back that person alive. So death is optional, and one day science can bring a dead person alive. So he asked to preserve his dead body in those cryogenic. Cryogenic means just imagine like a big milk tank. Just big milk tank. They are maintained at extremely cold temperatures. Extremely cold temperatures. The body is preserved, and nothing will happen to the body. And one fine day, when science, if at all science finds solution to death, they can come back alive and enjoy their kingdom. And it costs a lot of money to maintain bodies like this in those cryogenics. So Walt Disney's family, they were able to maintain it for some time, and then after some time, they pull the plug.
Really?
Yeah.
With all this money also they can't maintain that?
I mean, it was costing so much money, and either they thought it's a waste of time, or they thought, why to waste money on these cryogenics instead of we'll take that money.
He's already dead. No,
Yeah.
Let's go pull the plug. What is it?
He will not ask whatever we do, right? He asked the family members to take care of his body, but now he cannot come back alive and ask, hey, are you maintaining my body or not? So rather, we will enjoy that money.
Properly, instead of build that huge.
So they pulled the plug, and they could not maintain it for a long time. Now Larry Ellison and others, they're waiting. They have not died yet, but they're waiting to maintain their bodies like that. So there are some people who think death is optional, but what Krishna is telling here is, you understand that these four things, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, nobody can escape from these four things. Yeah, nobody can escape from these four things.
I think our Hindu culture is better. Once you're finished, then burn, and there is no such option of coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to go into the details of these qualities. We'll come to this 13th chapter after a couple of years, and then we'll discuss. And then
There is
Passports.
No, I
Crash
have
course.
100 something
Important
shlokas,
yeah.
which we should practice. So we did a few.
Okay.
So can we just do like
100% and then go into the.
I don't know.
This is step 1, then step 2, and then
Yeah.
the first 100 important ones first finish it.
So 108 shlokas, they're meant for memorizing.
Only for memorizing.
They are meant for memorizing important shlokas. They are meant for memorizing so that you have some satisfaction that, okay,
know
I have memorized 108
I
shlokas
feel
from
preaching
Bhagavad.
also, like, anybody who is, inclined toward preaching, those are like tools in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're mostly for memorizing for kids and even for adults also.
Can you share it?
Yeah, but there is no, I mean, you'll not be able to connect the dots if you,
No battery.
Low battery and also call.
no, when I press the recording, it gives some notification saying that it's being recorded. Okay. So if you try to understand these 108 shlokas, they are random, right?
Yeah.
Some are from chapter 1, some are from chapter 5, some are from chapter 18, like that. So you'll not be able to connect dots.
A few which are selected in the 108. Like, it has in all the chapters, all the 18.
Yes. Yeah, from every chapter. So, but you'll not be able to understand the flow of these shlokas. For example, all of a sudden, there is a shloka. Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskur. So why Krishna spoke that shloka, and you'll not be able to understand the context and the proper flow of the shlokas. That's why it is recommended to do a systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, systematic study of all the shlokas. Yeah. Okay. So this is chapter 13.
What is the constant unalloyed devotion to me? Like that? Constant means I understand.
Constant means always.
Yeah.
And unalloyed devotion means
Pure. Like,
no other motivation, no other contamination, uncontaminated.
Basically, not expecting anything in return, just serve the God.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, not mixed with
Not
anything else. Not mixed with anything else. Only devotion to Lord. See, the yogis, they also have bhakti, but it is mixed with something else. What is that? The yogis who meditate.
To reach God, something like that.
No, that is okay. But they have
He's saying I'm doing something like that.
no.
Right?
To improve
They
the
think
Shakti.
mostly yogis think they are like they have a supernatural power, or maybe they think they have attained more. That's why they became yogi. Aham,
False ego.
false ego or aham.
No, but what is the motivation for yogis?
they want to become God. Like one with God.
No, not necessarily. Not all yogis want to become God.
Immortality.
Well, those guys are like tantric yogis. Usually, Patanjali says when you do start meditating, right, you get natural power.
Yeah.
So you should reject them, he says, if you want to attain the God.
Yeah.
So because if you stop in that, you get that power.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a illusion.
Yeah, the siddhis and the tantric skills, they are byproduct of practicing this yoga.
Yeah.
But what is the main motivation for yogis? Liberation. They want to get liberated because they are suffering so much in this material world, and they want to get rid of these problems and get liberation. They want to become peaceful. Yeah.
Even like when we get detached and get into more Krishna consciousness, will that be the?
It's the same, right?
It's the same, right?
Yeah.
How is it different from yogis and what we are doing?
Yeah. So the bhakti yogis, people who are performing devotional service for Krishna, the Krishna consciousness people, for them, liberation is not a goal.
Service is the goal.
Service is the goal.
Yeah, I was reading about one poet yesterday. We were listening to one discussion.
Yeah.
There is one, it's in Sri Vaishnavism, like one of the poets and devotee.
Yeah.
It seems he has sung a lot of songs on Sri Rangam, like Ranganatha Swami, where he is lying in reclining position, and he's so attached to it. He says, like, I have sung in the praise of Sri Rangam, God. With that same mouth, I don't even sing anything about Tirupati Balaji. If you are not, you come down and I will serve only this. That's a kind of devotion and service orientation.
Yeah.
Even in the moksha, even if you go to moksha, they don't want. Like they want to come back and to serve the Lord.
Yeah. And that liberation, the so-called liberation that yogis are aspiring, that the devotees, the bhakti yogis, they can achieve while living in this material world itself. They are called Jivan Muktas. So you can be liberated while living in the material world.
This was one of the Alvars, Alvars, right? One of the Alvars has sung like this, saying that if I go to Vaikuntha and if you are not in this Sriranga form, Ranganatha form,
I want to come back here
and
and
make a hole from that and then come to Bhuloka again to serve this Lord.
yeah. Yeah. So like Srila Prabhupada, he was Jivan Mukta. He was liberated, but still living in the material world. He was serving the Lord in the material world.
But they're so attached to like that. They get like that's
Yeah.
But in the Bhagavad Gita, they say we need to Ganga everywhere, right?
You need to be detached
Yeah.
from material things, not from God.
Oh,
Not from God.
Not from God.
Yeah. You need to be attached to God.
The detachment.
Yeah. Okay. So that was chapter 13. Then, so one important thing in chapter 13 is, so whenever we are practicing devotional service, right? Or whenever we want to practice devotional service, what's the biggest obstacle, or what's the first and foremost obstacle on that path?
Anarthas.
Anarthas. Okay, somebody said anarthas. Somebody said
The concentration.
lack of concentration. Okay.
Deviations.
Deviation.
Or attached to
Yeah, the
other-
same thing. Lack of concentration is
attached
nothing
to
but
other
deviation.
things, Attached to a prioritization, basically.
Okay. Prioritizations, attachment to material things. Okay.
And postponing the thing.
Okay. Postponing the things. Okay.
Very simple, being lazy.
Being lazy. Yeah, the same thing.
I think it's the important
Procrastinating, lazy, same thing.
time, kala.
Yeah.
If I have
Lack of
40
time.
kilowatt, yeah.
Lack of time. Yeah.
Maybe
So
just
Jeet is
whatever
asking,
everything gets packaged. Doesn't matter.
So Jeet is asking, what is the question? Okay, let me repeat the question. So Jeet is asking. So the question is, what's the first and foremost, or what's the biggest obstacle on the path of Bhakti Yoga? When we want to perform devotional service, what's the
Lack of
first and foremost
Ignorance of
obstacle?
faith, right?
Okay, lack of faith. Okay.
Another thing is not able to surrender. Before doing a devotion, not able to surrender ourselves.
Mhm.
Because we're not surrendering ourselves to God, or maybe for any devotion service.
Yeah.
So we're not able to prioritize or concentrate or do an heartful service.
Mhm.
Maybe ignorance, right? If I know it, but God, definitely I do bhakti.
Okay.
Suppose something is there, island is a beautiful island.
Will, I think, your own will. If you
Yeah.
want to do it, you
Yeah,
do
I
it.
think we all
Do it
know.
all things.
No, you don't know how you do it, like.
Even if
I think we all, when you're in a culture, right, we all born in Hindu culture and we know that God is supreme. And if you go down to God, we get what we want. What is material world, right? But even at this far, we continue our life. We didn't completely surrender to God yet. We're still running behind what we want, ignoring God, or maybe going to God whenever we really need help. But we still know that God is supreme.
So Jeet is saying here, I think it all leads to faith and perception on the knowledge you gain either from books or from Bhakti Yoga. Okay.
I think you said one word that one I forgot actually.
Who said that?
You said some word actually. Why we? What is the biggest obstacle? Actually? Previously, I think mind is restless or something.
No.
Yeah.
Time we thought like time is the biggest thing which we need to keep it to have that connection with God. That is the first and foremost thing we need to keep time in first place.
Lack of
Yeah.
knowledge and faith.
Sacrifice. What is the biggest sacrifice that you can do is time.
Time.
Yeah.
But what is the obstacle? Right?
Obstacle.
Lack of knowledge and faith.
Lack of knowledge and faith. Okay. Yeah. We'll discuss the answer in the next week. Yes.
This is homework for us.
It's been like 2 weeks, right? I did not give you any curious things or surprising things. So you keep thinking about it and we'll discuss next week.
Homework.
Whenever it tells the correct answer, right? I can read your face.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 1:30. So should we
the
stop
question
there?
is the most biggest obstacle, like what we
First and foremost obstacle, or you can say what's the biggest obstacle on the path of Bhakti Yoga? Okay, maybe we'll stop 1:30. So I think we'll stop here. Unless if somebody has any question or comment.
Parker has a question. What is the biggest obstacle in path of
Good question. Good question. We'll discuss the answer next week.
So, Prabhu, I have a technical question. I think
Yeah.
sorry, this might be technical. So I was thinking about all the characters in Mahabharata. We talk about some of the great devotees in Mahabharata, like Kunti Devi and Bhishma Dev. And Arjuna, for example, Arjuna, devotee, he realizes Krishna is Bhagavan during the discourse of Bhagavad Gita. But what piqued my interest was there is an episode where something absolutely miraculous happens and Krishna is not credited as Bhagavan. So I mean specifically during the episode of where Draupadi Maharani is dragged to the court and she is being disrobed and Krishna comes in and protects her, right? But we don't see a mention of like, it's Krishna who actually did this miraculous thing and therefore Krishna is Bhagwan. That never happens. And I was wondering, there is a reasoning for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you're saying even though Krishna came and helped Draupadi, there's no mention of
like Draupadi knew that Krishna was Bhagwan and protecting her. But why did any of the Pandavas actually recognize that it was actually Krishna who protected us and we should go and pray to him?
The family did not recognize that Krishna is saving her.
Yeah.
So
correct. You know what I'm saying? It's not what Krishna did there is not possible by any mere mortal. It is only possible by Bhagavan. So that's what I know. It's very interesting. I don't know if there is an answer or maybe it's not the right way to think about it.
Duryodhana, even after seeing he tried to arrest Krishna, right?
Correct.
When Krishna went as a peace messenger,
of
the war, Duryodhana did not listen and rather he tried to captivate Krishna. He tried to arrest Krishna.
Yeah.
And then Krishna said, wait a minute, you don't know who we are talking to. And then he showed his universal form. Even after seeing the universal form, and even after seeing the same person standing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Duryodhana did not acknowledge that he is actually Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it was an exclusive one-on-one darshan of universal form to Duryodhana.
Yeah, and he just thinks that, he has some mystic power and that's why he is just using.
Yeah. And not to speak of Duryodhana or anyone else, right? All of us, we know that when we go to temple, we see the deity it is nothing different from Krishna himself.
Hmm.
Ranganatha, deity, or anything, any deity, any temple, it is non-different from God himself. But do we treat in such a way that we are actually seeing God? We don't have that consciousness, right?
We don't have that faith that 1%.
We don't have that 100% faith that that deity is actually God, and there's no difference between God and the deity. We're not at that level.
Like the Prahlada story, right? So he showed God in the stone.
Yeah, in the pillar.
But in this age, we don't believe that the God will exist in the stone or anything.
Yeah.
You don't believe now? You believe now, right?
Now I believe. but-
I believe it's like it's for the namesake belief. Right?
Yeah. It's not with 100% conviction. Yeah.
We're still eating. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the absolute.
Yeah, it is due to lack of faith.
I think Madhav
Due to lack of faith.
He might have left
Okay. So with that, we will conclude the call here. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.